Streaming live from the Paul and Catherine Ranke Memorial Studio, this is TV Free Baltimore. Support for TV Free Baltimore comes from viewers like you. Become a TV Free Baltimore member by visiting patreon.com/TV Free Baltimore.
You're watching Maryland Politics here on TV Free Baltimore.
Hello and welcome to Maryland Politics. I'm your host, Louise Baker. In the studio this evening, we have James Amos, who is running for Baltimore County Council District 2. He's a lifelong Baltimore County resident and retired from the Maryland Capitol Police as a lieutenant with 22 years of state service. James feels the current administration and council majority are not serving the county residents. Things have become critical at this point. He is stepping forward and is well qualified to represent the larger community on the council. James, welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Louise. It's great to be here.
So we're going to start with you telling me a little bit more about yourself, your background, and your family life.
Well, I'm 64 years old. I was born in Baltimore. I've lived at my current residence in the Greystone community of Gwynn Oak for the past 23 years. I own 4 cats. I have a 21-year-old daughter who's a senior at Georgetown University, and I'm very proud of her. I'm currently serving on the Republican Central Committee in District 4 for Baltimore County. I was president of my neighborhood association from 2012 to 2014, and I am a member of Emmanuel Lutheran Church in Catonsville.
Why do you feel that you are the right person for the job?
I believe that the residents of this county are not being served by the current administration and council majority. I just think that because of my background, my experience in government, I think I can do a better job representing the citizens of District 2 in Baltimore County.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your background and how it is that you've served our community?
I joined the Marine Corps at the age of 17 in 1974, served for 6 years, left as a sergeant, and in 2010 retired from the Maryland Army National Guard as a staff sergeant. I've also served as a bailiff for the District Court of Maryland in Baltimore City. I've been an election judge and a chief election judge for Baltimore County.
So James, you have a very strong background in law enforcement. So let's just jump right into crime, which is out of control, and we're seeing a real increase in crime in Baltimore County. Can you talk to me about that?
Well, everybody knows that crime is completely out of control throughout Baltimore City and Baltimore County, and it's getting worse in the county. And I think there's 2 main reasons. The maladministration in Baltimore City and the failure of our county leadership to call it out and address it, and also our county leadership failing to adequately support and fund our police.
I'm sure you're aware the Democrat supermajority overrode Hogan's veto of House Bill 670, the Police Accountability Act, and we were the first state to repeal the Law Enforcement Officers' Bill of Rights. Do you think that these are strong contributing factors to what's going on in Baltimore County and actually Maryland as a whole?
Absolutely. I think it's imperative that we reinstate the Law Enforcement Officers' Bill of Rights statewide as soon as possible, but I agree with Mr. McDonough's proposal to pass a limited Law Enforcement Officers' Bill of Rights in Baltimore County in the interim. We need to give them adequate funding and resources for the things that they require and that they need, and stop just paying lip service and saying we support our police, but turning around and doing absolutely counterproductive things like the recent police reform bill that Julian Jones sponsored and that the Olszewski administration signed into law.
Any other solutions you would offer to this
Yes,
problem?
I call for Chief Melissa Hyatt to be terminated. She is not doing the job. She has not been doing the job from the get-go. And we need to find somebody else to run our police department in Baltimore County.
Overdevelopment is one of the primary concerns that I've seen on your platform. Can you explain to us and our viewers?
Well, it increases trash and traffic congestion as well as pollution due to erosion and runoff. We need to do more to renovate and use existing structures and dwellings when possible. In fact, I would call for a complete moratorium on PUDs. That's public development projects.
We need to talk about education and our public school system. I think we're currently spending on average $16,000, $17,000 a year per student in the state of Maryland. I actually think that number might be a little bit higher. Some schools are doing okay while others are failing. What do you see as the solutions we could offer Baltimore County residents to fix our failing public school system?
Well, the first two things, I think Mr. Williams, the superintendent, needs to go. He needs to be replaced. And the school board, if they don't terminate him now, they need to not renew his contract. He's not doing the job and he's not being transparent. I mean, millions and millions of dollars are being wasted and there's no accounting for it. So the second thing I would call for the Department of Legislative Services, Office of Legislative Audits, to do a complete and thorough audit of the school board. You have a lot of bureaucrats out there on Greenwood Road, while the teachers, the rank and file teachers, they can't get adequate pay and resources that they deserve. Okay. And also, as far as the superintendent, along with Julian Jones, my opponent, Mr. Patoka, are the only two that defended him when the rest of the council called for him to be replaced. Another thing is this gender ideology has absolutely no place in our public school system, and critical race theory is also something that needs to be stopped. I have a biracial daughter, and this critical race theory deeply offends me. So they deny they're teaching it, but I'm hearing that it's still going on. They just pretend like it's not.
What are people in the community saying to you about how they feel about our school system and about the sexuality and gender ideology being taught to such young children and critical race theory, since you mentioned
some people seem to be indifferent, but I hear a lot of feedback that's negative about it. They don't like it either. They don't want third graders being taught things like transitioning to another gender and LGBTQ rights in general. That's just not appropriate at that age. Like when I went to Towson Elementary School many, many years ago, we didn't even get sex education until 6th grade, and we had to have one of our parents attend with us.
Are you hearing any other complaints from the citizens in your area about crime, education?
Well, it's mainly quality of life issues.
Quality of life.
People are tired of illegal fireworks, illegal drag racing. The crime, again, is the top issue, and that relates to crime. Back back when I was a police officer, I used to like to do traffic enforcement, but they're not out there doing that now because the officers don't feel safe, either physically or from a liability standpoint.
Yeah, and I think the morale is
terrible. And I'm a retired member of Lodge 29, and I still talk to people and hear things. The other problems they're having is with recruiting. And the Baltimore County Police Department used to have one of the most stringent background processes in the state, and you have to wonder the way things are now. Also, they're having trouble recruiting crossing guards, and and back to the schools, they're having trouble with getting bus drivers. It's just the current administration and the current majority on the council just are not getting the job done. And so pretty much summarizes why I'm running.
Okay.
And I think I have the experience and the capabilities, the knowledge and skills to get the job done and represent the people of District 2 in Baltimore County.
How can people get in touch with you?
You can contact me at jamesamus132@gmail.com. That's JAMESAMOS132@gmail.com. Or you can call this number 410-262-4578. And if anybody wants to contribute to my campaign, I would be glad to have your contribution.
Well, James, thank you for spending time with us this evening, and good luck in November.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
We all need all the luck we can get.
Yes. And thank all of you for watching Maryland Politics. I'm your host, Louise Baker. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Take care, stay safe, and please join us for our next interview. Bye.
You're watching Maryland Politics here on TV Free Baltimore.